I'm going to be telling you the best 5 under 1,000 budget picks for videography and just filmmaking. I actually have 2 extra ones, so technically it's 7. But 2 of them, I'll just get off the bat. I think that your phone, I know, everybody's been saying that lately. Every single video that you watch says that. Your phone is perfectly able to produce some great quality images, and it is technically under 1,000 because you already have it and you use it for multi-purpose. So you can watch this video over here. It's all shot on iPhone. It's like I shoot on it a lot, and I have the iPhone 15. It's great. You can attach labs to it. You can attach things to it. It's fantastic. I would recommend that. Like if you just really want, if you're really budget conscious, like just use your phone. Yes, storage can be a little annoying and stuff, but next, kind of bonus one is the Osmo Pocket 3. I think that is a great option. It's a little limited because you can't like interchange lenses and stuff. You can't do certain things to it, so you're very limited to just the gimbal and kind of going around with that. And then it also has like an internal battery, so if the battery dies, then you kind of lose the whole system. But it is a fantastic camera if you're a beginner and you're just trying to get up and running and shoot stuff. It fits in your pocket. Like, I mean, the name states it, it's called the Pocket 3. Like, it literally fits in your pocket. So if you're just going for something that you just want to shoot and you just want to go, it's under $1,000 and you can get very up and running. So those are 2 bonus ones, but now we'll get into the actual list. None of these are in particular order, as they're all going to depend on what you want, the colors you want, the system that you want to keep going on. Like, if you want to stick to Canon and then eventually upgrade to more Canon, or if you want to stick to Sony and eventually upgrade to more Sony, it's all just really dependent on you. So there's no order, it's just five budget options that I think are good. So we're gonna start off with the Canon EOS R10. You can do 4K video. You can do 4K video up to 60 frames, well, with a crop, but like, come on, you're spending under 1,000. There's gonna be some caveat. You have a 24 megapixel camera. Like, you can also take photos with this. You know, all of these will be linked down below. The prices will vary, but I tried to stick to around the $1,000 mark. So obviously that can kind of flex a little bit. The cons of Canon is that the lens selection can kind of be a little bit limited, in my opinion. Like, you could adapt older lenses and stuff, but in my opinion, Sony right now, Sony and Fuji have really great lens options. Fuji is just kind of more budget friendly, so it has like a lot of, you know, you can adapt things and all that, but I would say that the Canon can kind of have like limited lens selection from what I've seen, you know. Next we have the Fuji XS10. So this camera has 4K recording, a 26 megapixel with IBIS, which is crazy because a lot of the more expensive Fuji cameras don't have IBIS. Yeah, I would say that the autofocus is just not great on Fuji. It's probably not really reliable, but if you don't care about having stellar autofocus and you can look past that, Fuji just has great colors, and it just, in my opinion, Fuji is a great choice for somebody who just wants like out the box. Out the box looks good. Out the box, the pictures look cool. You can add the little filters and you can do different things to it. So if you just want, like, you just want to get up and running, you just want it out, Fuji's a good pick for that. My next pick is the Sony ZV-E10, which actually you can go on Best Buy right now and get them super cheap. You have 4K video up to 30 frames per second. You can't get everything, so there are some caveats. You got a 24 megapixel sensor for photo. I guess the cons of this one is there's no viewfinder. You know, with all these cameras that I'm talking about, like, the build quality is just not going to be great, but you can get some fantastic images for an affordable price. So what else could you ask for? Next pick is the Panasonic G7. So you have 4K video, you have a 16 megapixel sensor for photo. So Panasonic, the older Panasonics and the Fuji are gonna have the similar issue of the autofocus not being great, but at this price point, it's just not, like, it's not gonna be perfect, and that's okay. Not on the Osmo Pocket, the autofocus is pretty good on that, obviously, because it's just, so, like, if you don't wanna finagle it, then the Pocket is a good choice. My next pick is the Sony a6400. I'm a little bit biased. I have owned pretty much, well, I have owned a lot of cameras, but I've owned a lot of Sony cameras, and I have shot on Sony a lot. I think a lot of people shoot on Sony, at least for, like, when you're getting paid to shoot, a lot of shooters that get paid to do it, they shoot on Sony. So if you own a Sony, it's a little bit easier to kind of get hired as B-cam or do weddings and different things where you're like helping other shooters. So if you're looking at it from a work perspective, I would probably lean towards Sony personally. And this goes in the case of, yeah, like I would always, like, if you're doing for work where you're trying to get on sets with other people, I would lean a little bit towards Sony, just because at least in the areas I've been in, Sony is more prevalent, so you can kind of get hired as like a B cam more often. With the a6400, which I actually own this camera and I sold it, I just kind of there was nothing wrong with it, honestly. It just, I would never use it because I have other cameras, like I have the A7S III, which I'm currently filming on. Yeah, it just felt like a little small, but like my usage is I shoot video, so it felt like a little too small for that. But like not in a good way. I don't know. I just wouldn't find myself using it because it was APS-C as well, so it didn't have great like low light performance compared to my bigger sensors. But yeah, there's no in-body stabilization as well, so which, like, I had originally bought it as kind of like a vlog camera and I couldn't use it for that, so it made the whole thing a little difficult. It has 4K video. You can probably get them on Marketplace pretty affordably, and it has a 24 megapixel APS-C sensor, so you can get some great images out of it. It's a great pick. And yeah, all of these, there's so many different cameras. Like, what I want to convey in these videos, that it's kind of like the same shit but different toilet. There will be links in the description of the things that I use and the things that I suggest, so you can check that out, and I'll kind of like update that list as time passes. But let me know what you think, and let me know what your suggestions are if you shot with these. What do you think is the best kind of like sub 1,000, maybe 1,200 camera? At the beginning, it's kind of easier to spend the money on lenses than on the actual body itself. So, you know, like, great, you go and spend $3,000 on a body, but then you have like no lenses. So it's definitely good to focus on the lenses, the lighting, and the audio first, and then you kind of upgrade from there. So that's why I suggest you really research the system that you are buying a camera for, so that you can kind of stick to that system, because you'll start collecting things from that system, and it's easier to grow within one space than to have to sell everything and then go to another system, or just make your life easier and buy a Pocket 3 and, you know, don't even think about the video stuff. Just you're off to the races.